Hey, how you doing? Duff here. Behind me you see what used to be my 2007 Prius. I actually gave this car to Katie back in March or something like that. You know, with a new baby and stuff. It was a very good commuter car for her. Unfortunately, in the last week to 10 days, it once again developed the red triangle of death. Those of you familiar with my channel will remember that I first got this problem a little more than a year ago. The red triangle of death popped up, and my hybrid battery pack was defective, and I had a company called Battery 4 Prius come out and put a refurbished pack in. That was a little bit of a hassle. Oh my goodness. It was a little bit of a hassle. They came out a total of, was it 3 or 4 times, because the refurbished packs they put in failed quickly. So after 3 or 4 tries, I've had one in, and it worked for probably 9 months until this most recent failure. I contacted them. My first reaction was, okay, well, I guess I'll spend another $800 or $900, or Katie can, and just replace it again, get another 1-year warranty. And when I did that, they said, oh, sorry, we're not doing work in Florida anymore. I don't know if that's, or currently, I don't know if that's true or not, but I said, okay, well, screw you. So we started looking at options. It's back. All right, so anyway, since the original company was on option, I started looking for other options for Katie. The problem is it's a 2007 car with almost 230,000 miles on it, so it's not worth a lot of money. So, I mean, you have to balance what it's going to cost to fix this with what the car is actually worth. Some of the options I looked at for her was a replacement battery pack from the dealer, which would be somewhere between $2,500 and $3,000, including the labor to install it. The next least expensive option was, there's a guy that makes brand new batteries for Prius, where you would have, it's a different type of battery, where instead of there being 28 cells, there's only 14 cells. I'm blanking on his name right now, unfortunately, I apologize. But that's an option. He's out in Colorado. You can have that whole kit sent to you and replace the guts of your pack yourself. The kit itself costs $1,600, so it's not exactly cheap. And then there's still other companies that I could probably get to come out to swap out another rebuild pack. But then I was looking at option D, something that I've read about, something I've watched a lot of videos about, and that's simply finding the cell that has gone bad in the pack, cracking the pack open, replacing that single cell, putting it back in. Now, long term, it's not the best solution, but if it gets you another 9 months out of the car, or even a year, who knows, until you have to do it again, it might be kind of worth it, in my opinion, especially with a car with this kind of mileage on it. So what I've done is I bought an Android phone, first of all, and then I downloaded an app called Torque Pro, and I bought a Bluetooth ODB2 adapter that's plugged into the car right now. And Torque Pro is awesome because it gives you basically full diagnostics for the car. You can see basically what a dealer sees with a little bit of configuration. And right now, I don't know how well this will show up on camera, but I basically have all 14 battery blocks loaded, where you can see the voltage of them. And normal voltage for them, for all the blocks I'm seeing, is 16.7, 16.8. They're all within like a tenth, except for block 3. You can see block 3 is low. Block 3 is showing a voltage of only 15, well, it's bouncing 14.8. It's like at least 1.5 volts less than all the other packs. So what my guess is each block is made of 2 cells, and I'm betting that 1 cell is bad in there, which would be either cell 5 or 6. And I have a replacement cell right here that I bought from HV Batteries on Amazon. Some other people have had some good things to say about them, so I have 1 replacement cell. It costs $35. So, in theory, if everything goes well, I'll be able to pull the pack, open the pack, replace whatever cell is low, put the pack back together, clear all the codes, and it should work. in an ideal situation. Now, I don't always have ideal things happen to me when it comes to projects like this, but that is my hope. And we could fix this whole thing for less than $100 and get, you know, 6 months, a year out of it, whatever. So, and plus it's a good experience. Once I do it once, if I have to do it again, each time it's going to be subsequently easier. So that's a plus as well. So I am not going to document the breakdown completely. There's lots of videos about pulling hybrid battery packs out of second-gen Priuses. I don't know that you really need me to go step by step. I'll cover it from like a Cliff Notes kind of version, but I'm not going to go step by step. Once I get the battery pack out, I'll document that in a more complete fashion. All right, so here we go. Here's our before shot. Might as well do this right away. Take out the interlock, up and out. That disconnects the HV battery from the rest of the car. I'm finally going to get a chance to use my old Milwaukee right angle socket tool. I'll be using that a lot. How awesome is this screwdriver? I got this from, I can't remember if this is my grandfather or my great uncle. It has a wooden handle on it. I love this thing. I've had it forever. It says on the Hickory. I don't know if that's the brand or whatever, but yeah, it's awesome. Disconnected the positive side of the battery. I think I'll disconnect the negative one just to be safe as well. This is after about 15 minutes of work, maybe 20. Not too bad. Alright, I'm at the point where I'm disconnecting the high voltage wires right there, so putting on some leather gloves just to be safe. Alright, it's loose. It's ready to come out. Again, I think I'm under an hour so far, so it's going well. Since this thing has been taken out so many times, obviously there's some pieces that are not in there anymore, so maybe that's helping me a little bit. But yeah, it's going pretty smooth. Trying to stay organized with my fasteners so I remember where stuff goes. But so far, cautiously optimistic. This thing's pretty heavy. Ideally, you would have 2 people doing this. I'm the only person here right now, so I'm going to do it myself. Here you go. 1 second generation Prius battery. Let's see what happens next. Take the covers off. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention. If you are taking this out, make sure you're wearing gloves. The metal edges of this case are super sharp, so it's very easy to cut yourself. Make sure you're wearing some relatively thick leather gloves. It might be ready to come off. Let's see. It is. All right. You ever wondering what the inside of a Prius battery looks like? This is what it looks like. There's 28 cells. They're numbered 1 to 28. I need to pop off these bus bar covers and unbolt the bus bar connectors. Otherwise, these are all still wired together and can hurt you badly. So let's do that. All right, this thing on the side here is just a bus bar protector, just a cover. There's just some little tabs up here you can pop off. Still got the gloves on, just to be safe. All right. Gonna do the same thing on the other side. Right there's what the bus bars look like. You can see these bus bars are very corroded. So we will be cleaning these as part of this process. And this first strip should be ready to come off. So I believe the way you clean these bus bars is vinegar, and just let them soak in vinegar, and then use baking soda to scrub them afterwards. That's what I saw somewhere else. So I'm just going to continue here. Takes a while. You notice these batteries have markings on them, because this pack has obviously been worked on before, so I'm not sure what those markings mean, but we shall see. Hey, it's raining. One thing I neglected to mention as far as safety goes is also eyeglasses. I have my sunglasses on now. I just have on my regular safety glasses. Definitely need your eyes protected when you're working around something like this. Maybe I just missed it in other battery videos. I don't remember this connection box here for the pack, but I guess they must all have it. It's on the 9th and 10th battery from the left. I'm not sure what that is when you're counting from the right. So obviously you need to make sure that goes back where it came from. All right, one side done. I'm gonna spin it around and do the other side. These are just ventilation tubes. These can just be pulled off to vent gases off the battery cells. Nothing very technical there. Okay, this side has a lot more wiring on it. I guess these are probably the lines that monitor the cell voltage, if I was to guess. Alright, those are all out. I'm curious how you go about cleaning the bus bars on this side with all these wires attached. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to look at these closer. Yeah, it's weird because like the monitoring wire side is clean, but then you got the copper has corrosion on it. Alright, there you go. They're all off. I'm wondering if there's bus bars underneath that. Those monitor leads, probably. Alright, more fun. But they're off. So at this point I can actually start measuring voltages. Okay, so each one of these cells is somewhere probably high 7s. Now that they're all disconnected, each one should be reading like between 7.5 and 8. So based on what I saw on Torque Pro, it was the block 3 that was reading low, which would be 5 and 6. So I'm gonna read voltage on those and see what we get. All right, so this is 5. I can find a good way to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 8 volts, 8.2 volts on that one. Actually had the leads backwards, doesn't matter. 8.2, alright, so my guess is this one, number 6, is low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's reverse the leads. Yep, 7 volts. So that's well over a volt less than the other ones. So that is our offender, I believe. I'm going to check the voltages on the other ones just to make sure, but I think that's our bad one. X marks the bad cell. Alright, I'm going to take some other readings. Alright, every other cell in this pack is reading 8.5 or 8.6. 8.5, 8.6 volts. This reads about 7. So that is definitely our culprit. So now we need to get it out. I guess I need to get these bus bars out and get them cleaning those somehow first. Let me do that. On this side you can pry the bus bar material out from behind the monitoring terminals. So slow and tedious process, but not difficult. Alright, here's a before picture of what these bus bars look like. Pretty terrible, huh? Alright, this is just white vinegar. And I think you just need to let these sit in here for a little while. And then when you take them out, you brush them with baking soda. So let's see what happens. Alright, I just was doing some research online, and they mentioned how a lot of people, instead of messing around with these copper bus bars, they get nickel plated copper bus bars because they don't corrode like just bare copper bus bars do. So I just went and ordered a set, 40 bucks including shipping. Should be here in a few days. That's fine, because I'm not going to really, I wasn't planning to get this all done today anyway, so I think I'll just wait till they show up. And another thing I'm doing is I'm going to charge that replacement battery cell so it is also sitting at 8.5 volts. It's at 8 volts. And I contacted the guy that sold it, and he said, yeah, it's the best practice is you want to try to get the cell that you're putting in to be the same voltage as the other cells in the pack to avoid potential issues. So I'm going to be doing that as well. So I will be checking back once we resume the fun. But so far so good. Looks impressive, at least, doesn't it? You know, I did realize there is one more thing that I can get done a while, which I probably should do, and that's remove the bolts and the end cap so I'm able to get this cell out. Might as well do that a while. Oh wow. So you can definitely tell when you have a rebuilt battery pack when they don't even bother to put the screws back in the cells. There's supposed to be screws holding in these cells. Wow. Alright, that's interesting. Alright, so instead I'll just be removing this end cap. I can't say I'm surprised, unfortunately. No, not really surprised at all. I have seen on most of the videos that it is a challenge getting this end cap back on because the batteries swell somewhat, so it can be a real fight to get this end cap back on. You have to kind of lift up on the pack, I think. Let's get that out. I think. There's battery sensors in the bottom here, so you got to be careful. I'm just trying to get this damn thing out. There we go. All right. So I'm going to try to not even disturb these little. There are little clips in the bottom that are the sensors. So I should have enough room that I can just pop this sucker out. Number 6 coming out. As long as it doesn't have a sensor on it, a temperature sensor. It does not. Yeah, I can kind of. Yeah, this looks swollen. You can actually see the sides of the pack are swollen compared to the new one. So here's my bad one. I'm going to charge the good one, and then we will be back. Probably not going to be here a few days, but I will be back, I promise. Alright, welcome to, I don't know, a week later, something like that. I'm in my hobby room right now. What I'm doing is, this is the replacement cell that I got online, and I asked the place I got this from, HV Hybrid Batteries, well, I don't remember the name of the company. But basically he said that it's best to try to make sure that the cell that you're putting in is as close to voltage as the other cells in the pack. So I measured the other cells, and right now they're all sitting at right about 7.8 volts. So what I'm doing is, I have an old hobby charger here from when I was big into RC. This is a Triton charger. It's very old, but it works perfectly for this. Right now I have it doing a discharge cycle. And what I'm doing is I'm discharging this battery because I had a voltage of like 8 to 8.1 volts. This should discharge that battery to approximately 7.8 volts. So it's close enough to the other batteries in the pack. So while this is going, I'm going to be working on some other things out in the garage. Alright, so originally I said I was going to just clean these bus bars, these copper bus bars. They've actually been sitting in vinegar all this time. You can tell they look pretty clean. And if you did want to go that route, you would soak them in vinegar and then you put them in baking soda to neutralize the acid. Just kind of scrub them with a brush and that will neutralize them, that will clean them up. But the problem is they will corrode again in not too long, unfortunately. So what I decided to do is I looked online, and you can buy nickel plated bus bars. They're copper underneath, but they're nickel plated, and they are much more resistant to corrosion. I got them on eBay, and I'm trying to, where the hell did I set them? I had them out here. Oh, there they are. Right here they are. I think it was like 40 bucks for the set. But you know, the theory is you put them in and they don't corrode. They're able to transfer current in between the packs more efficiently, because sometimes I've read that people actually have problems with their pack just because of corrosion. So if I could do something to minimize the chance of that happening in the future, I figured it was worth it, 40 bucks. So I'm going to be putting those back in. I'm going to be doing that while that battery in there is discharging. Alright, so for this side of the battery, I'm just going to be reinstalling the bus bars into these holders. And then the other side, where all those terminal connections are, it's going to be a little bit slower process, but I don't think it'll be too bad. And also, it's nice to give you all new nickel-plated nuts as well. So I figure if you're going to go through all the trouble of pulling this thing out, you might as well go the extra step to do this. So these just should kind of get pressed back in there behind. There's two tabs. Press them in until they secure in place, and you're good to go. Just repeat this like 50 more times. That's what they look like. So with this side, you put the new bus bars behind these temperature sensor probes. So I find it's easier to pop the probe lead out, put the bus bar in, then put the probe lead back in. Okay, well that's a little annoying. I've put in all my bus bars in my kit, and I'm short 2. Missing 2. That's annoying. I guess I'll be putting 2 of the copper ones back in. Guess we'll be contacting that seller to complain. Alright, so what I did is I took a couple of them out and dumped them in baking soda, scrubbed them with a brush. Like I said, that's supposed to neutralize the acid, and then you have some nice, or sort of nice, brass bus bars once again. So, like I said, it's pissing me off that I don't have what I paid for. I'm missing 2, but I think we'll be okay. Alright, got all my bus bars back in. All nickel coated except for these 2 back here. Alright, now so you may remember that I discovered when I took this apart that all the screws that are typically at the bottom here to hold these cells in place, they're all gone. So this cell is basically held in place just by the support plate at the end that kind of just pushes everything together. So like I said, this pack has been worked on before, obviously, so we're just going to try to line everything up best we can and put it back together. Okay, so here's my replacement cell. You need to make sure that you orient it correctly. When you look down the row of cells, it should alternate negative, positive, negative, positive. This is cell number 6, so we're going to stick it in here. We're going to make sure that we have the, actually it'd be easier to do it from this side, wouldn't it? No temperature probe on this one, so that's good. Alright, so there you go. The cells are in. So now I'm debating if I should try to reattach. I should probably try to put the end cap on before I put the bus bars on, don't you think? Kind of makes sense. So as you can see here, like these aren't aligned on the holes at all, so I'm going to need to kind of futz these back and forth to get them centered like they're supposed to, and then get the end cap on. I'm assuming, you want these in tight enough that they're not going to move, obviously, especially in my case since these aren't bolted down like they're supposed to be. Tight enough that they don't move, not tight enough that you're compacting these in a stressful manner. So I'm going to just see what looks the best. Alright, I have got the pack secured in there. Need to put these breather tubes back on, one at a time. Alright, once again, hopefully you won't run into the situation because your pack won't have been rebuilt already, but again, it's hard to get these aligned well without the screws in the bottom to hold it in, because my first attempt I didn't have it aligned well and I couldn't actually get the vent tube on all the way down. It made me realize that it was crooked. So I think I have it straight now, so I'm going to button it up and then I will start reattaching the bus bars. Alright, here we go. We are going to start reattaching the bus bars. And hoping we can get everything on. Rubber gloves on. Not that they necessarily are going to do me a ton of good, I don't know. Alright, so I got them all slid over, and then I'm just going to be reattaching these brand new 8mm nuts. God damn it. So I'm putting these on. Start to do this one cell over here. It feels like the nut got a little cross-threaded. It sheared that bolt off on that cell. And I don't see any way I can get that on. Wow. This really pisses me off. Alright, so I don't really have any viable options at this point. You can't fix it. I just went in and ordered another replacement cell, unfortunately, and now I've screwed that cell. So that's cell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Cell number 11. I just screwed up like a moron. So I have to I gotta undo all that I did here. And yeah, don't use a power tool to reattach the nuts. It's okay, well, I shouldn't even say it's okay to take it off with one, because if it was really corroded and you forced it with a power tool, there's a possibility that you could snap it that way too, trying to take it off. And luckily I didn't do that. But do not reattach the nuts with the power tool. And I guess I need to find the torque specs for these nuts. I don't know. So now I'm out of commission for another few days. Just freaking wonderful, man. Wonderful. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut the video here. It's already long enough. This will be part 1. Hopefully part 2 will be my triumphant completion of the project. We shall see. But I'm going to undo what I did here. Take the bus bars that I connected off. Wait for the new cell to show up. Then I need to set the voltage of that cell similarly to the other cells in the pack. Reinstall it, and then try to not snap off the battery post in the process. And then of course I have all the fun of reassembling everything as well. So if you found this video interesting or entertaining so far, I don't find it entertaining. But if you did, please give a big thumbs up. If this is your first time visiting the channel, please consider subscribing, and feel free to leave your comments, suggestions, ideas, thoughts. on what I've had so far, what I've done so far, and we'll see how it works out. That's all I have for you for now. Till next time, definitely out. I mean, I really should have known better. It's freaking... That was really stupid. Sound like I haven't done really stupid things multiple times, but that was really stupid.